voice in the choir. She's got a crazy love that's built to last. With her rebel wife, they're fighting back fast. In Salt Lake City, they're taking a stand. Power and love, hand in hand. Fighting for the kids, raising their voice. Say no more abuse, let's make the choice. Love is love, no matter what they say. In this battle, they'll find a way.
Hello, everybody. Hello. All right, we're gonna let a few people jump in, and this is kind of just like a work session. If you guys have any questions about the organization, this is my first time going live on Facebook, so I will be talking about the organization for the people over there. I'm live on 2 platforms, YouTube and Facebook. So we will wait for a few people to come in. And as you guys come in and say hello. And we will get started. So, if you guys are new here, my name is Chanel. I am the founder and senior officer of Stand Against Fear and Exploitation. And we are a 501c4, and we are a legislative nonprofit that fights for legislation change against religious groups that use their tax exempt status to hide behind to do criminal acts and hide their criminal acts within their religion, 501c3s. And we also do things to make it safer for children, victims, women and family, things like that. So, one thing that we were glad to help and see through was Senate Bill 158, and that is a youth organization bill. So we were really excited to see that through. That makes it so any youth organization that has children under the age of 18, that adults over the age of 18 are overseeing these children, will have to be going through some registries. That is okay. Sex and kidnap, abuse, and I always forget. Sex offender, kidnap, abuse, and then they have to do a prevention. So that's always that was a good thing. However, there was a recent incident that happened in Salt Lake City, Utah. That is where I'm from. And it kind of hit close to home because I remember that, driving in my car and things like that, I was always, trying to spot this little girl named Elizabeth Smart. And whenever we would drive around Salt Lake City, I was, trying to look for Elizabeth Smart. Like, instead of playing, the license plate games or, the I Spy, we were trying to spy for Elizabeth Smart. So it really hits close to home. And Wanda Barzee is one of her kidnappers. And she was recently seen in 2 parks in Salt Lake City. And as I got looking into her, like, more of like her repercussions and things like that, I was actually super disappointed in the state of Utah. I really couldn't understand how Utah has such a low standard for sex offenders. And it kind of breaks my heart. And so I thought that this would be a good campaign for my organization to try to take on. And that's what we're going to do. So we are currently going to be taking on the campaign, and our newest campaign that we are doing is going to be to make stricter punishments for offenders who reoffend after they're released from jail, prison, whatever it is. So things that you're going to see if you live in the state of Utah is you're going to start seeing, we're going to be putting some campaign things around that says we need to stand together. Like I said, a convicted sex offender, Wanda Barzee, who helped kidnap and abuse 14-year-old Elizabeth Smart, was recently seen in parks in Utah violating her release conditions. And the consequence, imaginably or not, is just a misdemeanor. And literally a slap on the wrist. So it's 364 days, up to 364 days in jail, and up to a $2,500 fine. No felony. She doesn't even have to spend jail. No required jail time at all. So, my eyes, this is not justice. This is failure to protect our communities, the children, and even the victims if they're still around. So my name is Chanel. I'm the founder of SAFE, Stand Against Fear and Exploitation, a 501c4 organization fighting for stronger protections across Utah. We're showing up city by city to demand accountability, tougher laws, and demand public safety. And we're currently going to be organizing in quite a few cities. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 cities that we're currently going to be organizing in. And I would love to tell you guys the cities, but unfortunately, I'm transitioning from another protesting group, and they are like mad people, and they don't have anything nice to say or do. And so at this point in time, there's a lot of things I keep quiet, and there's a lot of things that I wish I could say, but I have to protect myself. And I also have to protect the things that I do. And so for that, I won't be saying the cities that we're going to be to. But we're asking everybody to stand with us, show up, speak out, and protect the parks, the schools, the public areas. The children deserve to be safe, feel safe, and be safe in. So we're not going to stop until safety is more than a promise. It's a priority. So we encourage everybody to stand up, go to your local city councils, and fight for justice. You can follow us here. You can follow us. You can join your city council meetings. You can message us at safeadvocacy24@gmail.com. Utah needs to protect children, not predators. And so that is, something that you'll see floating around with us. So, but a lot of people don't understand or know the whole legislative, the process of legislation. So I kind of want to go through the first couple of steps because I'm back into the first couple of steps of doing another legislative action. So I have wrote up just a rough draft of a bill that I feel, can be helpful. And it's not really a bill, it's like an amendment. It's an amendment to what we already have in place. But if there's anything that confuses you, let me know, because this is a complete rough draft. So let me get this over to present. Now I gotta present it the right way. Okay. We're gonna present this. We're gonna let's make it a little bit smaller. Okay. So here we are. We have our header, and then we have the Sex Offender Registry and Violation Act. We have our Section 1, the title, the legislative intent. So the intent of Utah legislators to strengthen the community protection by ensuring violations of sex offender registry conditions are treated with the seriousness they deserve. Under current law, such violations are classified as Class A misdemeanors, carrying a maximum penalty of 364 days in jail and a fine of up to $2,500 with no mandatory sentence. This is insufficient penalties fail to deter repeat offenders or protect our children and neighborhoods. Then I have section 3, which is the problem and overview of statistics. So, according to the Utah Department of Corrections and local law enforcement data, there are more than 8,000 registered sex offenders in Utah. In Salt Lake County alone, there are over 2,000, with 3,520 registered in Salt Lake City, equating to one offender for every 55 residents. That is so freaking high, you guys. That is ridiculous. So South Salt Lake has 138 registered offenders, which equals one offender per 183 residents. But this is my thing. Like, just because like South Salt Lake and Salt Lake City, like they are like their neighbors, right? And the offenders just don't be like, oh, that's Salt Lake City, I don't go cross the line. Like, just because like we have them going back and forth. So literally Salt Lake City shares South Salt Lakes. They share, everybody shares everybody else's, you know? So South Salt Lake allegedly could have 3520 on top of their 138 as well. So these individuals are permitted to live near schools, parks, churches, and youth centers as long as they comply with registry restrictions. However, when these individuals violate registry rules, such as entering prohibited areas, the consequences are minimal. Inconsistent victims and communities remain vulnerable. That's it. That's just it. So I wanted to throw section 4 in there where there's an expert testimony. Former U.S. Attorney John Hubbard stated that publicly that recidivism rates for children sexual offenders are between 60 to 80%. Now, where that 60 to 80% is, okay, is if it is a family member on, like, a family member that that offends a family member, then the recidivism rate is going to be more to 60%. If it's somebody out on the street and they're not related, it's going to be more, the recidivism rate is going to be more to 80%. And so that's why they say the 60 and 80 is because if it's family members and, you know, they know each other, it's going to be more of the 60%. So this is supported by multiple studies, including those from the U.S. Department of Justice, which confirms that sexual offenders, especially those who violate supervision or registry conditions, have a significantly higher rate of reoffending when many other criminal categories. The risk is not theoretical, okay? It is well documented, predictable, and preventable if Utah enforces accountability. So Section 5, proposed law, felony reclassification. So A, reclassification of violations. Any individual who is registered offender in the state of Utah, and who is registered and who violates probation or parole conditions, or I don't know why my Siri's talking to me. Or violates any provision of the Utah Offender Registry, as defined in the Utah Code, while no longer under active supervision, shall be charged with a third-degree felony, punishable by up to 5 years in prison and a fine of up to $5,000. B, aggravated factors, a second-degree felony upgrade. If the violation involves knowingly entering protected or prohibited areas, including public parks, public schools, school grounds, daycares, religious institutions, hosting youth events, community centers, or recreation areas, the charge shall be elevated to a second-degree felony, punishable of up to 15 years in prison and up to a $10,000 fine. Mandatory minimums. Okay. So we've got the basics. We got 5 and 15. Okay. Now we have now we need the mandatory minimums. So first offense, 1 year in prison. Second offense or subsequent violation, mandatory minimum 3 years. Sentences may not be suspended below the minimum without written judicial findings of a compelling reason. So D, the reporting and public safety alerts. All violations must be reported to the local law enforcement, the Department of Corrections, or the Division of Adult Probation and Parole, if applicable. A public safety bulletin shall be issued within 48 hours if the offender enters a location with direct child access. Section 6, the community support and call to action. So this is where, we step in. And it just, talks about us. And then section 7 is the effective date. I just kind of had to throw a date out there because when you do these, you do have to have an effective date. So what's the next step? Now you got to find a legislator that is going to support this. So it's kind of going to the drawing board. So let me remove this, and I want to go here. Okay. I want to go here. So let me put this up here because this is the next step that's really, really, really important. Is you now have to search for a representative that you feel is going to be good, because they have to sponsor what you can't just like go up there and be like, here it is, I have this, let's go. It's not going to work. You have to get somebody to sponsor it. So you have to get somebody from the House to sponsor it. So that is the next slide that I want to show you. And that's this one. I'm going to bring this down so I can see you guys if you guys are chatting. Okay, so here we have this. Where did they go? Oh, there they are. Okay. Okay, we'll go 3. Okay. So here we have this, and this is a good way to like get to know your representatives. Now, this is what Utah's looks like, and I don't know what other states looks like, but this is what Utah's looks like. So, let's say that we want to look into Jake Sawyer. Okay. Let's look at Jake. Come into here. It shows that he's a Republican. His counties are Weber. And he began January 1st of 2025. It gives his information. But right here is really cool because you can view what the sponsored legislative things that he has sponsored. Okay. Now, let's do this because dun, dun, dun. There we go. Okay. Now, let's let me present. Let me remove this one because I have to add, it popped up a different screen. Okay, so this is, you can see Jay Sawyer right here. Okay, and these are the bills that he has been supportive of. Okay, now I can go over these and I'm like, okay, do any of these connect, or are they worth, like, is he going to see eye to eye with my bill? Like, that's how you have to look at it, right? And I don't see that with him. So let's go back to this one and let's look at a different one. Let's look at Grant. I don't know. He's a Democrat. He does Salt Lake counties. And we can view his legislation. And let's go over to his legislation and view that. So, let's see. Criminal Protective Order amendments. Okay, we're getting closer. I mean, we're getting closer with the Criminal Protective Order. That's somewhere, but not really our jam. So let's go back over to another representative. Let's do a girl this time. Let's do this one. This is a Salt Lake one. Let's view her. Would you like to get underneath the blanket? My dog wants to get underneath the blanket. Okay, so let's view her. Okay, so I already see some good things from her. So she supported some crime conduct amendments. So that's some other crime victim amendments that is for animals, but it's still closer. So that is closer. Restricted persons amendments. Getting closer. Curious what this bill is. Dangerous weapons. Okay. So that's so they want to up it. They're trying to up this one too. So it's interesting. That's a good one. So I mean, so that's kind of what you have to do. You have to you just kind of have to banter around, see which one, and then you email them. When they email you back, then they will help you find they'll help you find a Senate to work with you, or you can find one yourself, but it's really nice to work with them, and then you just go forth with it. So but that's kind of how it is, starting the process of getting a bill starting to go, and then you want to, with your letter, you want to put your full name, your address, city, state, zip, email, phone number, date. You want to put their name, if they're a senator or House or, representative, whatever, the Capitol address. Even if you're sending it by email, just make it look professional. And then you want to, call them by name, dear, blah, blah, blah. And then just kind of tell them what you're doing, why you want to do it. Send them a copy of, the bill or whatever, the amendment, the bill, whatever you're doing. So you want to, summarize your proposed legislation, highlighting the key points and the objectives in that email. And then you want to request the meeting to and reach out to the legislators to discuss the proposal and seek their sponsorship and support, right? And then you want to engage with their committees. So you want to focus on House Law Enforcement and Criminal Justice Committees, the House Judiciary Committee, because they play pivotal roles in, related legislation. So it's just, it's very important that you make sure that you're following each of these steps, because if you try to do it other ways, then they're just going to be like, huh? Type thing. So you want to take, you want to prepare like briefing materials and, things like that. So it's a process, but if you're if you're, very strong on, getting it done, then it's worth it, right? So yeah. But so that's pretty much what I have for tonight. I'm not going to show my letter. I do have it wrote up, but I'm not going to show my letter. But yeah. But other than that, if you guys have any questions, you're more than welcome to email me. Put a comment down below, and we'll just keep doing this. You'll see more videos coming up and more places that we're going, more things that we're doing. We're excited. This is going to be a fun experience to do once again. So thanks guys so much, and I hope you guys have a wonderful night.
They won't stop till the truth's been told. Breaking chains that the lies have sold. With a rebel heart and a loving hand, they'll stand strong and take back the land. In Salt Lake City, they're taking a stand. Power and love hand in hand, fighting for the kids they give it.